it's one of those cards that's good enough to take a second look at.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right,
we
wrong
have
decks.
Adam Van Fleet.
No.
Oh, pardon me, wrong decks.
list.
Wrong decks.
Which is fine because we actually asked for Adam Barnello. So,
Oh, okay.
wrong deck lists, no problems. There's Adam Barnello and Christopher Gilley. For those of you just joining us, I'm Joey Pasco here in the booth with Adrian Sullivan.
Hello, hello.
We're headed into round 8 of the StarCityGames.com Open Series Legacy portion here on Sunday. This is round 8 of 9. I was saying to Drew Levin just a few minutes ago, we've seen 7 rounds and 14 different decks. And
well, you know, I'm going to
roughly-
say that that's a slight exaggeration because
Oh,
there
you've been
was an
keeping track.
overlap. I've been keeping
Okay.
track. There was an overlap with Merfolk twice,
oh, I didn't know that. I didn't see the Merfolk.
and the that Trinket Mage deck with Dreadnought also twice.
Oh wow, was it a different player? Same
Different player, different
Oh
player.
wow, didn't. Okay, so I must have missed both of those.
Now, interestingly,
misspoke.
that Trinket Mage Dreadnought deck was only played by 3 players in the whole tournament. So,
wow, yeah.
I ended up talking to the guy that designed the deck, and he was pretty pleased. Everyone was doing well. He had just gotten knocked out of the running for top 8. Here we have Christopher Gilley on the left playing Junk, and his Junk list is running 2 Green Sun Zenith. His targets there are the 4 Tarmogoyf, the 4 Knight of the Reliquary, and he probably has... Oh, wait, looking at it, he does not have a Dryad Arbor. No Dryad Arbor for his Green Sun Zenith. And his opponent is Adam Barnello. What's Adam got?
Adam's playing something very similar to what Drew was playing, and except he's not playing Tezzeret, and he's playing more of a bulletless with his Enlightened Tutor package.
Right.
Drew was talking about it a little while ago. He's got 3 Stoneforge Mystics as the creature base, and then he's got Brainstorms, Force of Will, Swords to Plowshares, 4 Enlightened Tutors, 4 Sensei's Divining Tops, 2 Thopter Foundries, 2 Counterbalance, 2 Counter Spell, 1 Moat, 1 Pithing Needle, 1 Sword of the Meek, 1 Sword of Fire and Ice, 1 Sword of Feast and Famine, 1 Snaring Bridge.
Right.
So quite the silver bullet package there in the main deck.
Adam Barnello opens up... Is that a Sensei's Divining Top? It's foil. It's harder to see. Yeah, that is a Sensei's Divining Top. Wasteland from Christopher Gilley. Now, Christopher Gilley, or Christoph, pardon me. It's Christopher. It's Christopher.
Yeah.
Christopher Gilley is also running some Mox Diamonds for a little bit of explosive speed. He can drop down a Dark Confidant on turn 1, which is always a great start. Turn another land into play on both sides. So we've got 2 lands since that Wasteland. Adam Barnello laying his second land, Island, and a Tundra in play currently.
Now, since the original 5 Moxen, we've had Mox Diamond, Mox Opal, and Chrome Mox, right? Are there any more that I'm missing that are...
Mox Diamond, Mox Opal, Chrome Mox. Those are the real Moxes, or the
Right.
quote real Moxes.
Right, the non original power Moxes. In the meantime, just to update you, Counterbalance has hit the table for Adam Barnello on turn 2.
This is a rough one.
He's assembled the combo already by turn 2. That's pretty rough
Now,
for Christopher, but we'll get to take a look and see.
Adam has 3 swords as 3s to stop a Vindicate. So he does have some options to stop Vindicate, but Vindicate is a way out for Christopher. And he can also, potentially, this is not very strong, Green Sun Zenith for a large number to go over the top of Counterbalance and get a Tarmogoyf or Knight of the Reliquary into play.
I'm okay right now. Yeah, maybe next round. Yeah. Cool. So, what is that a Thoughtseize for a Force of Will, or did Thoughtseize get Force of Will?
Looks like the Thoughtseize got. Untap. Draw. Lays a 3rd land. It looks like he's got several options in his hand. Or at least 1. I think I saw 1. His hand is in the shadows.
Yeah, kind of tough to tell.
There it is. Wasteland.
Wasteland, your only target.
Now, we saw before in one of the previous matchups how running the Wastelands as an attempt to hurt the player with the top, it can work, absolutely.
Yeah.
but it's also very easy for a top to just pull you out of the wasteland hurt. So sometimes it's sort of like other formats like Standard, where if you're a little bit ahead, the tectonic edge will help. Well, here, Adam Barnello is definitely ahead because of the top counterbalance. So wastelanding does have a little bit of extra risk for Christopher Gilley. He can run out of land, where Adam Barnello is much less likely to.
Yeah, I mean, Adam is well set up to fight Wasteland right now. He's got Island Plains. So even now, at this point, Wasteland's useless against Adam.
Your standing after 3 rounds of switch has been posted.
So as I was saying about the Moxes, the non-power Moxen. I guess the term is Moxen, I should say, not Moxes.
Right. It's so easy to slip into Moxes.
Yeah.
Vindicate here.
And
He goes for the land with that Vindicate. Enlightened Tutor is going to get a sword.
Yeah.
And there goes the whole path of Vindicates to get out of this.
Yeah, that's one of the. I feel like if you want to play something like Counterbalance, I feel like Enlightened Tutor is the perfect card to supplement that strategy, because not only does it get the combo pieces, but now you can grab and put whatever on top of your deck to counter the spells. So it's just it's so strong.
Now, normally Enlightened Tutor is just card disadvantage, but here, like you said, making it turn into a counterspell. Here we go, Stoneforge Mystic.
And Stoneforge Mystic gets sort of Feast and Famine, so looks like we've got Callblade and Countertop on this on the right side of the screen right now. No Squadron Hawks though, don't worry. But about those Moxen, I was gonna say I really like Mox Diamond. I think it's my favorite of the my favorite design of those three.
It's my favorite as well. And we're gonna do a quick check. Hey, do we have a 3 in there?
And I don't think so. I think I saw Force Jace and something else.
It might be worth his while to force this. He can put that Force of Will into his hand. Nope, he says it's okay. That resolves.
He has, I think, is that a Sword of the Meek in hand? And something else?
I can't tell what the other card is. It's probably, oh, well. Might not matter. We get a draw from the Sensei's Divining Top. Down comes Jace. Jace might dispense that guy.
Jace went to have a little conversation with that Knight of the Reliquary.
And Adam says, go ahead, I'm not even going to bother attacking into your Mazavith. You get 4 mana. This could be a Green Sun Zenith. How does that feel? Adam says that's just fine. In comes a Knight of the Reliquary. Sensei's Divining Top comes back down. Christopher lays a Wasteland. A large number of basics on the other side of the table. Mox Diamond. We'll check with the counterbalance after we do some rearranging. I see a Force of Will. I see is that a counterspell and a land?
Yeah.
Counterspell.
I think it was counterspell. Gotta
Land
love it.
counters the Mox Diamond.
And there's
Knight
the
of
Knight
the
of the
Reliquary.
Reliquary once again. And Adam decides, I'm going to drop the sword into play. Draws, brainstorms.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sorry, he's divining topping. He's divining.
Yep. We've got a draw here. His Jace, if he chooses, can just very easily pop that Knight of the Reliquary back into the hand before anything bad could possibly happen.
Yeah, the issue he has right now is that Maze of Ith. And
He goes for the Brainstorm.
Only one Maze in Christopher's deck. Looking no Wastelands in Barnello's deck.
Yeah.
Which would be a nice way to deal with that Maze of Ith, which seems like it's giving him a little bit of problems right now. I mean, it's a reverse tumble magnet.
To be fair, he has a Jace with a counter top going, so he doesn't mind the game being in a kind of a slow holding pattern right now. With the Knight of the Reliquary not really able to fetch anything of note that's going to help him get out, Adam's lands are basically basics, so Wasteland isn't too effective. There's only one Horizon Canopy, so...
Yeah.
Adam Barnello does have a Pithing Needle to shut down that Maze of Ith if it comes to that.
That's a nice answer. Didn't even see that. I'm looking for Wastelands and thinking, oh, well.
Force of Will tossing his last card to get rid of that Knight of the Reliquary. Doesn't want to have that happening. That actually could mean that Christopher could start mounting an offense if the Knight of the Reliquary was out.
What happened when Christopher played that Green Sun Zenith for
4? That resolved.
It resolved.
It resolved and got him a Knight of the Reliquary.
But it looks like it was at the same night that he... Because it looked like... we've had a question on Twitter, and actually maybe it was just Jace bounced it, so never mind. The Knights getting bounced by Jace has confused me. Not that that's exactly confusing, but the trying to remember how the plays went down.
That sword is just, making the Mystic unafraid of that Knight of the Reliquary there.
Yeah, but the Maze is a nice little...
If you look at that board position, that's a lot of basics there. He's got 5 basics in play. He's got 2 more left in his deck.
He's very safe from Wastelands. And he Fate Seals with Jace. Keeps it on top.
Sword of the Meek has been assembled. Now, anytime that something's on top, Christopher can do just as he's doing right now and shuffle it away. At this point, if I were Adam, I'd almost just start Fate Sealing myself. Even though, you have the counterbalance Sensei's Divining Top, just moving one of those 3 cards to the bottom just to get it out of there, because you're not going to get any real work out of the Knight of the Reliquary there, stopping your Fate Seal from actually working.
Yeah, it's a good point. If you want Jace to tick up, then it seems way more worthwhile to do it to yourself at this point.
Okay, here's the draw. The Horizon Canopy that was searched for has been dispatched to the graveyard for an extra card. Christopher right now really looking for a Vindicate to start things off. He does Vindicate.
And Adam takes a look at the top.
Finds a Force of Will.
And
he's empty-handed, though.
Yeah, so that's not going to do...
He cracks a land looking for something else. If this Vindicate does the job that it wants to do, it's possible that Christopher can come back into this game that otherwise had looked pretty troubling.
Yeah, even though Adam has the counterbalanced top combo online, as bad as that seems, it's he's not really putting any pressure on Christopher because Christopher has that Maze, and so basically the only thing that Christopher has to fear is Jace going ultimate, but he's got plenty of time for that.
Brainstorm something. I couldn't see it. Looked like it was a sword then, since the Vindicate got countered?
Must have been. So,
He rearranges it to put a brainstorm on top after it's done its work. Jace.
Looks like he's
Looks at
ticking
the
up.
top, yeah.
Gonna take a look. I mean, maybe he's just saying.
He could be scouting.
Yeah.
And again, Christopher Gilley here just undoes the work of the Fate Seal.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
also thins his deck of. Christopher Gilley's going to be doing that same play regardless.
Right.
It's true that he only has a grand total of 5 dual lands in his deck that are true duals. So he can't do this forever.
one thing of note is that Adam could be looking on top and going, "I'm going to keep it on top no matter what," because he's going to shuffle it away with the knight anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just why I think Adam should do it to himself.
Yeah.
He gets more value out of it in that way.
Like you said, maybe it's more of a scouting thing. The information is relevant to him. And
Yeah, you could find out one more piece of information. Oh, this list plays Gerard's Verdict.
Yeah.
It doesn't, but you could find that out.
Right, exactly. So let's take a look.
Another scout. His hand, it looks like a Force of Will Brainstorm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that sounds pretty accurate. I know he's got Brainstorm, and I'm pretty sure I see Force. Yeah, there it is.
Go. Adam can afford to be patient here. And again, Christopher, you'll notice he got a Marsh Flats there. There are very few. I don't know what's in his yard at this point, but there are very few real lands left in his deck at this point.
He's certainly making that knight
Huge.
huge, yeah.
We appear to here have a word. Alex Bernsini is 7-1, winning in, drawing in, perhaps. Chasing down level 8 status.
He's got a good start getting there. Yeah. Going at a good pace to that level 8.
One of the things that Christopher's looking for here is the last couple of Vindicates. I think he's got 2 left. He might have only 1 left, though. Swords to Plowshare.
Swords for the knight. So that
Ouch.
knight be ouch, but how much life does Christopher gain now?
You know, Christopher doesn't care.
Adam doesn't care, but I just think it's funny to see. I'm kind of curious how big that knight was. Because he's been dropping land. Looks like Scoop from Christopher.
That's a concession. He did get up to 28 life, though.
Yeah. So I was at 12 knight.
That's, I think, 1 more life than Kurt Cobain had.
Very nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
Janis Joplin, if you prefer.
Yeah. Jimi Hendrix.
There we go.
The Club 27, right?
Yep.
Jim Morrison.
Looking at the sideboards, Adam, Meddling Mage is a reasonable card to consider. If Vindicate is one of the few cards you're concerned about. Meddling Mage, you can have it be killed, but it takes an extra step to get to the Vindicate. Then.
Right. Pithing Needles, Humility seems decent.
Humility seems pretty solid. On the other side of the board,
Curse Totem shuts down those knights.
Curse Totem shuts down,
Just
any
knights,
knight
really,
that comes
but-
out. However, from the sideboard,
Casali.
Christopher Gilley has Casali Pride Mage. And Casali Pride Mage is a card he can tutor for with the Green Sun Zenith. Curse Totem would shut off the Casali Pride Mage,
yeah.
as well as the Knights of the Reliquary.
Interestingly enough, Adam's deck. I mean, I just saw the Gaddock Teague in Christopher's sideboard, and took a quick glance at Adam's deck, and this is a deck that is quite resilient or just safe. It has no problem with Gaddock Teague. I mean, basically, it's like Jace and that's it, and Moat.
Well, a turn 1 Gaddock Teague turns off Force of Will, which is one of the big
Yeah.
calls for the deck.
Yeah, that's the only card besides Jace and Moat. Yeah. Humility, though, it'll shut that off. Not shut it off, but keep it from being played. I just found it interesting. It's just a one of, and I don't think Christopher brings it in, but maybe he does. Maybe he figures that's worth shutting off Force of Will.
mean, if it was me, I would bring it in just for that opportunity.
Right, because it's just a one-of.
Right, and I would probably end up bringing in Life from the Loam and the Extirpates. Now, if you look at this this list from Adam Barnello, an Extirpate at the appropriate moment can totally tear open what this deck is able to do. There are very few paths to victory in the deck. Plus, he's shown his opponent a Sword of the Meek, and getting a Sword of the Meek out of the mix shuts down an entire path to victory.
Yeah. I mean, sideboard aside, Adam only has 3 Stoneforge Mystics in a deck. He's got 2 Inkmoth Nexuses, though. That's interesting in a Legacy list. Haven't seen that a lot. Just a little, but not a lot. So he has, just to carry these multiple swords that he's got, Sword of Feast and Famine, Sword of Fire and Ice, aside from Stoneforge Mystic, he's got Thopter tokens and Inkmoth Nexuses. But that's it. So and out of sideboard, an Aethersworn Canonist, which he's not going to bring in. The Meddling Mages, which I guess could come in, as you had mentioned.
Like I said, Meddling Mage doesn't do particularly much. It just could be. It's one of those things to potentially
like
slow down
a
Vindicate from coming in.
Mm-hmm. So for anyone who's just joining us, you're watching SCG live coverage of the StarCityGames.com Open Series here in Boston. We're watching round 8 of the Legacy portion. This is round 8 of 9. I'm Joey Pasco here in the booth with Adrian Sullivan.
Hello, everybody.
We just saw Adam Barnello take game 1 versus Christopher Gilley. Adam playing it's basically an Enlightened Tutor deck when you really think about it. He's got the Counterbalance Top combo in there. He's got Stoneforge Mystics and various swords, Sword of Fire and Ice and Sword of Feast and Famine. But aside from those, he's got quite a lot of targets for the Enlightened Tutor.
Essentially, you're talking about here is the Thopter Sword of the Meek combo, and support cards. Stoneforge Mystic tutors for the sword.
Yeah, I mean,
the Jaces help maintain a controlling style presence. You might as well, at that point, since you're already going to be running Senses Divining Top, strongly consider your counterbalance. He's got 2. And then because you've got Stoneforge Mystic, you might as well put in Sword of Feast and Famine and Sword of Fire and Ice.
Yeah, I mean, it looks quite similar to the list that Drew Levin piloted today and then piloted for us a little bit on Moto a little while ago. But that list, based off of, which was, I think, identical to David Gearhart's list from Edison, that list runs Tezzeret as another win condition, and is a little bit different, but it's...
Yeah, well, David Gearhart's list, he very much is clear that he thinks that one Sword of the Meek is a waste of time for Enlightened Tutor, except for if you're just really going for it. It's something your deck shouldn't plan on. And Adam Barnello gets around that concern with Stoneforge Mystic, which does not give up the draw phase that Enlightened Tutor does.
Yeah. So on the other side of the table, Chris Gilley is playing a junk deck. Junk deck with, he's got Green Sun Zenith in there, but no Dryad Arbors, which we noticed. And I feel like that's a card for Legacy that seems like it just goes hand in hand with Green Sun Zenith, but not the case for this deck. Just maybe not what Chris wants to be spending his slots on, but he's got Dark Confidants, Tarmogoyfs, and Knight of the Reliquary as his creature package. But otherwise, a pretty classic junk list. Disruption, Thoughtseize, Hymn to Torok, Swords to Plowshares, Vindicate. Yep. He's got his own Sensei's Divining Tops and some Mox Diamonds just for a little bit of extra speed there, a little bit of acceleration.
Now, the real play you want to see happen with that Mox is that turn 1 Dark Confidant.
Yeah.
And I know that Brian Kowal ended up cutting them from the list that he ran, because without that turn 1 Dark Confidant play, sometimes it just feels just not strong enough, and then your mid-game happens, you draw a Mox, and you feel just pretty disappointed in it.
Now in game 1, Adam went turn 1 Divining Top, turn 2 Counterbalance, and basically that was his path to victory right there.
He did a lot of work with that as well.
Yeah. He landed a Jace. He had a Stoneforge Mystic equipped with a Sword of Feast and Famine, and a number of Brainstorms, and obviously the the typical support cards for the counterbalance top situation. But Chris was holding off the Stoneforge Mystic with a Maze of Ith, was just not enough though, because Adam just had kind of locked him out of the game. And Swords to Plowshares on Chris's Knight of the Reliquary was it just kind of sealed the deal for Adam.
Got a turn 1 Forest, Mox Diamond, discards a land, Sensei's Divining Top, sits back with Vanilla, I almost said Vanilla Ice because of Rashad. Sits back with the mana for Sensei's Divining Top, Vindicate in hand. Thank you, Rashad. Rashad talking about Vanilla Ice on the side.
Yeah. Adam leads with a Flooded Strand and passes Christopher.
Yeah.
Now, looks like he just cracked a fetch land.
Yes. Now, the Vindicate in his hand can't do much to that Flooded Strand unless Adam falls asleep for a minute. But,
but Vanilla Ice might be able to do something to the
would
Flooded
get in there
Strand.
because he's from the streets.
That's right.
I'm not sure if you know this. Vanilla Ice is from the streets.
Ding, 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 ding. But theirs goes ding, 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 ding,
Ding, ding,
and ours
ding.
goes ding, ding, ding. I was just watching that on YouTube the other night.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I admit there exists a picture of me with Vanilla Ice.
With the real Vanilla Ice?
With the real Vanilla Ice, Rob Van Winkle.
I forgot his name was Rob Van Winkle. As
That's
real as the streets, yo.
That's right.
Okay, looking at the top of his library, Christopher only has about 2 or 3 cards left in his hand. No action yet. Adam Barnello getting a second land. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an island. Oh, going for the Plains Island.
Still
Stoneforge Mystic seems like a good play here.
Yeah, don't get confused. This isn't Clawblade.
Thopter.
Thopter Foundry. I always called it Thopter Depths. That is not the name of the card.
On the top of his library, he's got a card already set up for himself. Christopher Gilley draws. Vindicate in hand. 2 other cards in hand. Staring down Island, Plains, Thopter Foundry.
And there's the Green Sun
Green
Zenith.
Suns for 2.
Could very
Says
well
good.
be a Tarmogoyf coming down in Adam's future.
I think Tarmogoyf is very likely.
Yeah.
It's
Kasali
a Pride Mage.
yeah.
Attacks for 3 and can take care of a problem.
That's just a one of, so. Does he
Swords
have
to
a way
Plowshares, perhaps? There it is. 2
There's-
life for Christopher Gilley.
He has no way of getting that back.
Now that guy's gone for good.
Yeah.
And with the way that the rules work now, even if he had Living Wish, he can't get it anymore.
Yeah, I heard that and had completely forgotten about it. But
Makes me sad, honestly.
yeah,
I don't think that Wizards needed to go that way, but
I want to see the wishes. I mean, that's one of the. I love the wishes. I love playing with them in Standard, and it's kind of a cool thing about Legacy that they're still around and still playable. Cunning Wish being mostly the one that sees play now.
yeah.
At least in the recent kind of.
You still see Burning Wish in the combo decks
Right.
that are going to go storming on you.
Exactly. So, I was a big fan of Living Wish. Played that a lot in Standard.
I was a big Burning Wish guy.
Surprise, Red Mage.
Well, I actually I liked it in black-blue decks as well. So.
Yeah. Grixis Wish.
Psychotog with Burning Wish.
Sounds like a fair deck.
We got 3 mana for Vindicate, crashing into that Thopter Foundry.
And
Spends a little bit of mana to make himself a 1/1 flyer, gain a life.
all right, Adam.
Jace in his hand.
And Pithing Needle, I think, is what he just drew.
Attacks for 1. A Jace wouldn't be terrible here.
Certainly wouldn't, and I think that's what he's thinking as well.
Yeah. Let's pretend that you just brainstorm here, right?
Yeah.
If your opponent breaks your Jace, just like in Standard, you don't really mind if your opponent breaks your Jace if you've gotten your draw fit. You'd
Yeah.
obviously prefer that you still have a Jace around.
Of course, yeah.
But I mean, the value you get out of that is still really solid. Makes the brainstorm happen.
And he sees Flooded Strand, Humility, and something else.
Sensei's Divining Top, looking for some new cards. Dark Confidant.
There's
that's
a Dark
Bob.
Confidant, yep.
I think there's a path or Swords to Plowshares in Adam Barnello's hand. Regardless, there is a Jace if he wants to just bounce it.
Yeah, I don't think that Bob's going to be too much of an issue. Yeah, I believe there's the swords right there. Adam's
Tax for 1. Christopher goes down to 18.
he's about to get a nice little 1 right back up from that sword.
A couple of bits of life there. Back up to 20 for 21 for Christopher.
18, right? Just its toughness. Because he was at was he just at 18 or 17? I'm confused with what his life total was now. So
yeah, me too. Christopher turns that Sensei's Divining Top into something else. Oh, nope, left it sits there, and Python Needle says Sensei's Divining Top. And then Jace says, let's bout on that card. Adam looking in a very commanding position here.
Yeah, yet again, he's got, even without the combo, still he's got a nice little setup. There's a Knight of the Reliquary from Christopher. Probably meeting a Jace bounce unless there's a Swords to Plowshares, and another Swords to Plowshares.
He does have a Force of Will in his hand. He can just cast the Force, should he choose to.
Yeah, I believe he's fetching right now with Flooded Strand, so maybe that's what he's doing.
Adam getting another basic land. One of his 7. This is a list that's very respectful of Wasteland.
Yeah, he's seen the Wastelands from Christopher's deck, so he just decides why even worry about... why even make it so I have to worry about my mana base getting targeted? Just search up the basics. Humility, that's what it was that I saw on top and thought was possibly another sword.
So that was an okay to that Knight of the Reliquary.
Yeah. And he bounces it anyway.
Go ahead, he says. Draw. Christopher Gilley sitting with a anemic Sensei's Divining Top. It's been shut down by that Pithing Needle. Humility doing some work. Christopher wastelanding a single land and then laying a 1/1 Knight of the Reliquary because of that Humility in play.
Yeah, that's the only wasteland target available. Christopher decides he may as well take advantage of it now. In Adam's hand, I see Enlightened Tutor, which is he's casting right now, Force of Will, and I believe a Sword of Feast and Famine as well.
What's his choice going to be? Is it going to be a Thopter Foundry?
It looks like it is. And he's going with the Brainstorm with Jace.
Adam puts a land into play most likely. He's thinking about it anyway. Oh, nope. Sword. Okay, his hand is Thopter Foundry and a Force of Will and one last card. I think it might be Ensnaring Bridge, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm having trouble telling as well, but things aren't looking great for Christopher if he can't deal with Thopter holding a sword.
Christopher Gilley dropping a Tarmogoyf.
But it's a 1/1 Tarmogoyf.
In its heart, it knows it's bigger.
Yeah.
The sword is equipped. Away goes the last card in Christopher's hand. Adam Barnello untaps. Now he's got the Jace Sword of Feast and Famine combo. If he chooses, any creature that comes into play can be not long for this world. Thopter Foundry hits. So it's Leia Sensei's Divining Top as well.
Even though it's got a Pithing Needle on it.
Kitchen Finks. Hopefully the judge will remember, if Adam forgets, that the Pithing Needle has turned off Sensei's Divining Top.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing just now. So,
yep, and hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Okay, it's being sacrificed to the Thopter Foundry.
I see. Okay.
There we go.
That was awkward.
As long as a card draw didn't happen.
Yeah. And I'll take a look at what you got over there, and you can keep it. And there's Sensei's Divining Top yet again. And another Thopter token coming into play for Adam. Moving the sword over to that.
Shifting to the other side.
New Thopter. There's a Gattakeeg from Christopher.
That would be a really cool creature with a neat ability if there wasn't a Humiliate in play.
Yeah.
Untap. Adam draws. I think that's an Enlightened Tutor. Yes, it is.
Yep.
Enlightened Tutor plus Jace is going to be able to assemble the combo. In the background, if you're able to hear the people talking, there's a conversation about who wins between Iron Man and Batman. If you have an opinion, maybe you should voice it.
I like Batman, but I like Iron Man.
I mean, one question might be their alter egos. Who has more money?
Yeah. So there's Sword of the Meek.
Sword of the Meek Thopter Foundry doing some work. Rashad exclaiming from the side of us.
From the sideboard.
I was going to say from the sideboard. It's Rashad exclaiming from the side that Batman already beat the entire Justice League. So if any people are out there wondering, Rashad has a favorite in that matchup between Batman and Iron Man.
There it is.
The concession from Christopher Gilley.
So just not able to put enough pressure on Adam to really make much of a game.